Hi guys, it's Claire. I'm back with another video for you today. It's not a card making video as such, although this is the card that we're going to be making at workshop this week. But what I'm just going to share with you, is how we made this butterfly. I'll talk you through what we use for the rest of the card, but we're just focusing on the actual butterfly itself. For that we use the Stampin Up Swallowtail stamp set, and we use a whole bunch of the Tim Holtz distressed crayons. This was my first time playing with these and I absolutely love them, so I thought I'd show you how to do it in this video. So easy to do. Just quickly what we use for the rest of the card. For the sentiment we're using Stampin' Up Birthday Blooms, just this sentiment here. The die cut, I've actually used two dies because we make this black frame. This is actually raised, I think you can see it on camera, but this is raised higher than that bit there. So we use these two dies. I can't for the life of me think of what brand these are, but to be honest it doesn't matter. Just two decorative dies to make a little frame. You could use a circle, you could just use a square in there, anything, it doesn't really matter. And we're also using this large starburst. Or sunburst, I think it is. Is it called sunbeam, sunburst? I don't know, I'll link it down below anyway. Embossing folder just to go all the way around the edge on this outside part here. And as you can see, it's a large 8x8 card. The other thing we've done on this card is just added some splatters. All I done for that was also use the Tim Holtz Distress Crayon. I'll show you here, I've still got it in a little palette. Broke off a little bit of the crayon, spritzed in some water, mushed it around a little bit until it went, watery and inky. Used just an old water brush that I've got, dipped it in and literally flicked over to get that distressed look. But that is up to you, you don't have to do that part. As I say, I'm really just going to show you how we make this pretty butterfly. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is obviously stamp your butterfly. I'm just using some regular white card, any card will do. You want something quite thick though, because we do have to spritz this with water, so it needs to hold up to being spritzed with water. I've mounted my stamp on my large Fiskars stamp press, and we're going to stamp it, but we're using Versamark ink pad, and then we're going to use Wow embossing powder in the black. So we're actually going to do it in embossing powder rather than in ink. Look how dirty my ink pad is. So I'm making sure to get it really quite covered in Versamark, and then we're just going to stamp down. Okay, so you can see there, well, I don't know if you can see very well, but that's stamped in Versamark. So we're going to pour on the black embossing pad. I'm just grabbing a scrap piece of paper just to catch all the excess embossing powder. Make sure that's completely covered. Tap off any excess. And now I didn't go over with an embossing buddy first because it doesn't actually matter if it's a bit grubby around the edge. Obviously we're going to cut it out. All that matters is that this is all covered nicely. Just tidy up this mess. And then we're going to heat set that with our tool, heat tool. Okay, now that's all done. Give that a couple of minutes to dry, and in this time decide what colour pens or distress crayons you're going to use. So on this one here I used we used in the middle mustard seed, then spiced marmalade, and then picked raspberry, and then seedless preserves. Yes, and then we also used festive berries as well, just on the very tips here. So they're the ones that we used for that butterfly there. For this one, I'm actually going to use these colours here, which we've got Twisted Citron, Peacock Feathers, Mermaid Lagoon, and then I'm also going to bring this one in, Seedless Preserves as well. So we're going to use those 4 colours. Okay, now this is really quite simple. Just double checking this is all dry. All you do is with your crayon, the crayon itself is it's like a lipstick. You twist it up to wind it up, you can wind it back down again, but it's a really soft, like a cross between a child's crayon and a lipstick is the only way to explain it, but they blend really nicely. To do a butterfly, you simply scribble on some colour where you want it to be. You haven't got to be too neat, you haven't got to be neat at all. Just literally scribble on where you want colour. I'll pop some bits up there. Excuse the background noise if you can hear it, but my neighbours are doing some work. Okay, so you can see I'm being really quite messy. And then finally this on the end here. And obviously we are cutting this out, so we haven't got to worry about what mess we make outside of the lines. I think I'll bring in a tiny bit more of this Peacock Feathers. And that's it. Next thing I've got is just a water spritzer bottle, just plain old water in here. And I'm going to spritz this, what's that, 3 or 4 times, just to get a little bit of water on there. And now simply with your finger, blend this in. Now obviously working light to dark, or inside to outside. So all the light first, then going on to the next colour. And coming over here and doing the Peacock Feathers this side. And sort of working it in with the tip of your finger and pushing it into all those little grooves that you've got. And it's easy to move around. It's just really simple to do. That's it. And you can see my finger's a mess, but it's the best tool for it. There's no other way of doing it that works as well. Now with a second finger, a clean finger, just go from the inside out, just to get off any excess and spread the colour nicely across. So now my hand's a complete mess, but you've got a beautiful butterfly. Let me just clean up my fingers. Okay, I've got most of it off in my hands, not brilliant, but it'll do. And then you need to grab yourself just a piece of kitchen roll, just a regular old piece of kitchen roll or kitchen towel, and just very softly buff off any excess crayon that's there. And this is just taking it off of the embossing powder. It's not really taking it off of our white cardstock, just off of your black embossing. And that's it really, that's it done. Now to finish off, I just cut this out, which I'm going to do quickly to show you. There you go, all cut out now. Now to make this look a little bit neater, we're going to go around the edges with a black felt tip pen. So any black felt tip will do here, but I've got an old Stampin Up marker. And you literally just go around the edge with the edge of the tip of your pen to take away that white cut line and to make it black. And you'll be amazed at how much difference this makes. I'm rushing a bit here, but you can take your time and get that really neat. But you get the idea, it gives you a black edge rather than a cut edge. And that's your butterfly done. Now obviously it does want to bend up a bit because of all the heat embossing that we done. So you have got to try and either lay it under a book or something overnight, let it all flatten out, or just, it's quite nice with a bit of shape when you see it back on the card over here. Obviously you want it to puff up a little bit. But that's it, that's how you make these lovely butterflies. Yeah, really, really easy and pretty. Obviously the crayons are water reactive, so if you get this wet again, the colours will run, but once it's on your card, it's not going to get wet again, so it's perfectly okay. But really pretty. There's some other ones that I made as I was practicing, so I've got another one the same as that one. I've got one where I used white embossing powder instead of the black, so I used white. I'm not so keen on that, but it's quite a nice, if you were doing pastel colours on your card, it's quite nice. And this one I done with glitter embossing powder. I thought it might look good. I don't know, I quite like it. Maybe on the right card, I don't know, but I think definitely the black, the contrast with the black and these vivid colours looks lovely. That's my favourite. But yeah, if you give it a go, let me know what you've made, but I thought that would be a good video for you. I hope you enjoy. Bye.